two flawed Giants, Barca's three biggest points of this season. And don't take anything away. I know Atleti didn't look like Atleti, but 4 goals past Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid side and suffering to the final whistle is all Kool-Aids should have expected from this match. And again, what is something that I'm going to celebrate. This truly could be the marquee win of Xavi's tenure so far. I mean, easily it is, but even throughout this season. You could look back for Barcelona in total, all the way to the beginning of the season against Real Sociedad. I guess you could count that. But prior to that, now we're talking the Copa del Rey against Sevilla last season. And the biggest marquee win for FC Barcelona before that match? I mean, are we going back to the Ernesto Valverde era? I don't know if Kool-Aids have been able to celebrate this big of a victory. Don't let that suffering late take away from what this match meant. And Xavi and Diego Simeone's back and forth prior to this match were so telling. About the styles, about Xavi being more dogmatic. And you know what? Xavi got it right today. He got his tactics right, he got his starting lineup right, and Diego Simeone got it wrong. Barca didn't go all out on the press, but Pedri was everything Barca needed him to be. And with Adama and Gabi and Ferran Torres supporting him, the Blaugrana kept Atleti on the back foot in the first half. Koke was Atleti's best player, but Barca with a better unit for the first 45 minutes. The very theme we expect from Atletico Madrid. But I'm going to have a theme throughout this headlines that it doesn't matter the form that Atletico Madrid was coming in. Barcelona had to win this match for themselves at home at the Camp Nou, and they did just that. And speaking of themes, one of the themes on this channel is that people watch, but they don't subscribe. So hit that button, subscribe to this channel. And so make sure you do that now, and let's hear from this channel's very first video sponsor. I want to thank OneFootball for sponsoring this video. OneFootball is the app I use to keep me up to date on everything FC Barcelona, as well as all the other teams that Alamani might be scouting right now for a big summer transfer window. With a custom-tailored homepage, stay up to date with breaking news, live scores, and even transfer news. While on the go, you can check with matches in live time and watch videos afterwards. Use the link in the description below for a free download of OneFootball on Android or iOS to put all your football in one place. And you'll also help out a tiny Barca channel like this one too. Thanks again to OneFootball for sponsoring this video. Now back to the on-field business. Headline 2 is 2 minutes of Jordi Alba. He gives you his best, he gives you his worst. It feels like so long ago, but Barcelona were knotted up 1-1 in this match, and Jordi Alba was at the center of it. This was actually so long ago that Luis Suarez scored at the Camp Nou. Yeah, this match did have everything. And on that first goal, Jordi Alba loses Luis Suarez, and I do actually say that if you watch Gerard Piqué, he was the one who was out of position on that first goal. He was the one that Jordi Alba, I think, was caught between two minds to cover for, and that meant that Luis Suarez was, I'd say, off to the races. I mean, it's something that Kool-Aids are surprised to see, but yeah, Luis Suarez off to the races, and Carrasco, it was a difficult angle, but he gets inside positioning on Ronald Araujo, and that's why Barcelona were down 1-0 in this match. 2 minutes later, though, you get what Jordi Alba is surely capable of offensively, getting forward, getting to the spot he needs to be, and scoring an absolute banger. Adama's pressure, he doesn't get the assist here, but his pressure along with Pedri turned Atleti over, and Alves found Jordi Alba for the ridiculous banger. And that goal did seem to galvanize Barca. Then the Gabi header, I mean, come on. The 17-year-old rising up, yes, it deflected off the defender, but the teenage boy with the belief of a 10-foot man heading home against Atletico Madrid, that'll get Simeone to look in the mirror. And then the third goal before halftime, Alves delivers, Piqué heads on, Torres misses, but Araujo completely unmarked. And that third goal shows you that this isn't your older brother's Atletico Madrid. But again, that's not Barca's problem. You can only beat the team in front of you. I don't care what kind of form Atletico Madrid was in, Barca at home took care of business. 3 is Adama Traore's debut, because one of the players that helped Barca take care of business is a player returning to the Camp Nou after 7 years away. I had said on the podcast, looking at his numbers, of course they were worrying to me. He had 0 assists with Wolves this year, and an expected assist this season of 0.17, putting him in the 51st percentile of all wingers. So was he really going to help FC Barcelona? Well, the answer is yes. Defensively, the pressure he provided, we knew he was going to be good on the pressure, but the fact that he was able to quickly, and so quickly, pick up exactly the job that Xavi wanted him to do, and Pedri, as I said, was able to roam and support and turn Atleti over in not full-on pressure, but a soft pressure. And I love the chemistry between he and Ferran Torres and Pedri and Dani Alves. All of that spacing just working in perfect synergy today in that first half. And Hermoso had no answer for Adama Traore. Of course he's going to terrorize those opposing left backs, but the fact that Hermoso and the fact that Diego Simeone had the hubris to start a center back as a left back, and I know Hermoso has been the left back and the center back this season, but to start what should be a left center back against Adama Traore, Xavi made him pay, and Adama Traore made him pay. And I'm so happy for Adama Traore too. I don't want to understate this. For a player to leave as a 19-year-old and return 7 years later to get the ovation he did coming out of this match, that's awesome for Adama Traore. And I was trying to come out with some kind of equivalent for us non-professionals, and I don't think there is one. I guess it's going back to teach or coach at your old school or club and winning a championship or something, but the rest of us can't understand what the feeling of leaving and coming back to achieve a dream like that is. I'm generally very happy for Adama Traore. I don't know what he's going to be in the future. I can't guarantee any more assists. I mean, that's not what the numbers say they're going to get. And obviously, I also can't guarantee any goals. He's not expected to get any goals for the rest of this season, but whatever he can provide FC Barcelona, especially if he can provide what he did today, he's going to be a terrific loan signing, and maybe Barca will have to think about that permanent option, but I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. And the same thing with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who makes his Barcelona debut while Barca had 10 men. So unlike Adama Traore, I think it's a bit too early to give out any report card for the performance from Aubameyang. But the silver lining is he was on the field. So any nerves, any jitters for the 32-year-old that's going to be an important player for Barcelona throughout the rest of this season, getting on the field, just getting his sea legs in front of the Camp Nou, good for Aubameyang too. 4 is Dani Alves and Fuego. This analogy is going to be lost on people, but come on this journey with me, won't you? Dani Alves was on fire today in all the different ways that fire can be so many things. He was truly en fuego. Fire can be very useful. It's essential to human life, and it's essential to making things happen. And Dani Alves at 38 did make things happen today, especially in that first half when everything was going well. He burned so brightly today, delivering on set pieces, defending João Felix out of the game, coming to the middle, playing as an inverted right back, supporting Sergio Busquets and Frankie de Jong in the middle of the field, and putting Atleti to the sword with the 4th goal. But just as Atleti began to cut off the oxygen, the fire wanted to keep burning, but it got too hot, and Alves was sent off. The fire out of control. Alright, so analogy over, but you get the point. This game was calling out for glory, for passion, and even at 38, Dani Alves provides all of that. He is still a living, walking legend. And yeah, he's going to have his problems, but he gives Barcelona that intangible thing, that intangible belief, that self-confidence that this team surely has needed for the last at least year and a half, going back to, I'd say, the latter part of that Ernesto Valverde days. And he gave those intangibles all the way up to the red card. And once he did that, this team suffered, and it suffered a lot. And that's where we go back to speaking about the old guard. Gerard Piqué in his 593rd appearance for FC Barcelona, tying the immortal Carlos Puyol. He wasn't great to start the match, but he improved as the match went on. And a credit to the leadership of Gerard Piqué. And then there was Sergio Busquets, who didn't have a great day, but he also got better when Barca needed him the most. And we already talked about Alba. The thing we've known all season long is this old guard can get Barcelona to the finish line and to a top 4 finish, but it's going to be a bumpy one along the way. And while he's not part of the old guard, he's only 24 years old, I can't end this match review without talking about Frankie de Jong just for a moment. I already praised Pedri, and I said that there was hot and cold from Sergio Busquets today, but de Jong was what kept all of that glued together today. He covered for the mistakes that Busquets was making because he was not great on the ball, and de Jong was everywhere he needed to be offensively. He was man-marking Thomas Lemar in that first half, and even though he didn't really get the thing done or didn't have the action or the key pass that led to the thing that resulted in the 4-2 victory for Barcelona, Frankie de Jong was so essential to the game plan that Xavi put out today. I want to keep thinking about that and reviewing it because I think there's a lot more actually to talk about here with Frankie de Jong today. 5 is the 2 flawed giants. I already said it. Barca and Atletico Madrid, no, they're not where they were even, we'll say 2013, 2014, that kind of era. No, they're not at the peak of their powers. But this match wasn't to decide the title race. It was to decide who's in the top 4 and who is going to get Champions League football. Barca earned that spot today, clawing their way back into the top 4. And I've been saying it all season long, even without Ansu Fati. This team is deep enough, this team is talented enough, and especially bolstered by a decent January transfer window, this team is good enough to finish top 4 in the Liga this season. And I say finish comfortably, they just need to put it together. The back line is a problem that won't be fixed this season, but if they can create enough chances and score enough goals, the quality of talent is there. And on the other side for Atleti, they've got their own problems to figure out. Simeone should have started Angel Correa over João Felix. That was one that Atletico Madrid fans said prior to the match needed to happen, and it didn't. And Simeone paid for it. He probably should have also started the new signing Mandava over Hermoso. But once again, he didn't. And that's not Barca's problem, and that wasn't Xavi's problem today. Xavi got his starting lineup right, he got his tactics right, and he got his team to believe that they can get 3 points at home, which they should, and they did. Being in the top 4 now in February doesn't guarantee that Barca will finish there. There is still so many matches and so much work left to be done. But not only is this a good start, but as I said, it's that marquee win that maybe this team needs to be able to push forward in the Europa League, to push forward in the Liga. And just to remind Culés that they can finally, I think, me included, for the first time this season, in full voice say, this team is good enough. Now, the podcast tomorrow won't be a full standing ovation for this performance today. There were good and there were bad. Plenty of things, as I said, I just was able to mention Luis Suarez's goal in passing. But there's so much left to talk about. We're going to hit that on the podcast tomorrow. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. And as always, until next time, Forza Barça.